somehow after an error. I thought I set the transmission to be live. We were commentating with Edgin for quite a while now, but now we are definitely live and we are here to bring you the action of round 6 of RTTF Season 4. And we are here today in beautiful Portimao on board with Jacob Snacks on his flying lap attempt. And yes, right now Scruffy is leading the scoreboard with the time of 1:17.2. Jacob Snacks is trying to get that away from him. And yeah, we were talking about our possible picks for the race winner today, and we were talking about Scruffy, but this track needs a lot of consistency to get through to the end and not crash yourself on the notorious turn 8. So, as both Scruffy, Jacob and Lachtan, all of them are very fast drivers, I don't think Scruffy has enough consistency to actually take that car to the end without spinning once on the turn 8. We'll see. I'm expecting a lot of drivers to have trouble with that corner, honestly.
Yeah, it's a very difficult corner, honestly, and I think it's one of the most difficult corners on the calendar, with the exception of course, turn 1 Monza.
For the different reasons.
For different reasons, but I think that if everyone watches out, stays around 4th, 5th gear, we'll see some drivers taking it in 4th, other drivers taking it in 5th. We'll see what happens. Mouse, I've been asked if I could be turned up on Discord or my microphone be boosted somehow in the volume, since I can't really be heard on the stream.
Yeah, I mean, you are now
Just a tiny bit.
200% on Discord, so it should be alright now.
Jeez, okay. Hopefully this one... Hopefully now I can be heard.
So yeah, very rough start to the session. Fortunately,
Yeah,
we'll be in time to commentate on the race.
I mean it's understandable considering the race today was also rough.
And Scruffy manages to one-up himself with a time of 1:17.1. Half a second faster than what Jacob Snacks was able to pull off.
So I want to take this moment because we do have a little bit of space between the commentary. I want to thank everybody that's running the Romanian flag on their helmet and in support of me. It's great. I've been having some issues recently, and I'm not going to talk about them on stream. But as a whole, I just want to thank absolutely everyone for the incredible support I faced, because honestly, I didn't expect it. So that's absolutely incredible. I just have no words.
Yeah, that was a rough patch in RTTF history, and we all hope we can move forward from now on and grow him bigger.
Yeah, we will. So, Scruffy's actually headed towards a 116, closer and closer. Jakob has been doing better and better, though I think he is planning on staying with the respective lap he has. I think a similar outcome will be for Lachtan as well. But we're seeing some drivers that we didn't really see before going for some of the faster laps, like Ollie. And some other drivers who we were expecting obviously more from, like Deathlink, who's P7, who has done some incredible laps throughout the season. So this might just not be their track.
Yeah, and then, don't forget about Door to Door, previous championship winner here on RTTF, and he's down on 11th. He's trying to finish a flying lap attempt right now. He's now to cross the line and good enough for 4th. So, good job for him, good lap.
It's interesting to look at the time, since they're not, I mean, they're all within 2 seconds. They're very tightly compacted together.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the worst time held by Bev Jesus right now is a 1:18.9. And the
And I
fastest
definitely think he
117.
will improve. I think he's trying to improve, and I think he will improve that time.
Yeah. And we have an off, that's Crablord. He's not yet out. He managed to keep the car out of the barriers, but that's not gonna help his chances of taking a better spot during the race start. He still has 2 minutes. Wonder if he shredded his tires while spinning, or might he be able to continue on? And we had a new follower, that's Muffin Car X Lover. Thank you for following us and staying here with us today. Hopefully we can see you on track one day with the boys. So, right now, as Ejin already said, everyone is neatly and tightly compacted together, and we don't see any gaps forming. Maybe the one up front between first and second. But Jacob Snacks already on his outlap, but invalidated. He's gonna have one more attempt to, and he's gonna make that count, I believe. Raid also invalidated. I don't think he's gonna get to the. Actually, no, he should be able to get to the start-finish line before the checkered flag drops. Yuno subbing in today. I don't know about that, you have to ask Yuno. And he's racing right now, so please don't do it at the moment and don't disturb him. Or he's gonna get very angry. Maybe in between the qualifying and race. So yeah, I was saying everybody wants and needs to get one last attempt. Lachtan out there in the gravel, he was, I can only assume, trying to let Jacob Snacks by.
It's an interesting way.
Yes. What did Jacob do? Like, he cut the entire corner out there. Does he maybe want to go and have another attempt on flying lap before the... Yeah, that's not gonna happen, Jacob. We have 10
I think
seconds.
that's the idea.
He
Oh,
spins around and crushes the Emirates bollard. I mean, Jacob, that was never gonna happen. You didn't need to do it to yourself.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
I mean, what Jacob is doing, it's not necessarily breaking the rules, because while we were writing the rules, we didn't think anyone would be doing that, honestly, but I think we have to alter that one.
It does have to be
RTTR
altered,
rulebook,
that one.
yes.
And it will be altered in the new version that does come out. Oh. But yeah. Man, I'm excited, I'm not gonna lie. I've been waiting for a good Portimao race. Raid actually set the P3 fastest time with a 1:17.632, just inches away from Jakob, almost getting him. This
Yeah,
is
very good
definitely
time
gonna
from
be
Raid. Oli out
very good
there
race.
on the 4th place with the 1:17.7. Everybody in between 2nd and I would say even 7th. 6 drivers out there, very close to each other. Waiting for a good Portimao race in F1 2026.
Ugh. Well, when they fix the force feedback model, right? Never.
I mean, just let's do it in a stock Corsa.
That could be an idea.
So everybody's across the line. We are now waiting for Bev Jesus to slot into his pit spot and get hauled into the garage. So while we wait for that to happen, for the Alpha Tauri mechanics, let's run down the order with what we have after the qualifying session. So we have Scruffy on pole position, starting from first. That's gonna help his chances during the race. Next we have Jacob Snacks, half a second down on Scruffy. Next we have Raid, Olis, Lachtan, door to door, Agafa, who I honestly was expecting to be a little bit higher up the order. Then we have Deflink, who also is kind of underperforming in Portugal. Then on the 9th spot we have Mizi, and then Scrap, Vlad the Meatman, MKL, Yuno, Bahrain Berry, and I'm trying to scroll down, but I don't know how. Why am I not able to
Daxter's
do
Flat
that?
Beef and Bev Jesus.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Am I tapped out or something?
Good. No, I don't think so. It's just. Why do you ever wonder what F1 does? You shouldn't. You should have learned this already.
Okay. So now we have to wait for all the drivers to alter their setups for the race, because we don't race under Park Ferme. Pick their strategies, think of how much fuel they need to take with them. I wouldn't take too much because I'm honestly expecting a couple of safety cars during this race.
I mean, I'm hoping for no safety cars, but after what we've seen already in Brazil, in real life, and people driving very tight, very close. This is also one of those tracks where you drive very tight, very close. So let's just hope for the best.
Yeah, we've seen that in 2020 during the COVID times. It was one of the most exciting races I have ever seen on Portimao right there. But in 2021, it kind of went dull for for one season. I remember Kimi Raikkonen overtaking Antonio Giovinazzi was the highlight of the race. Who's gonna become Hack and who Danny Rick? That's what we are gonna find out in mere moments as the cars now line up on the grid and wait for the 5 lights to go red. And now the lights are off, and here we go. Everyone get off the line well. Scruffy making up good advantage. Raid actually overtaking Jacob, but now Jacob gets back at Raid and Scruffy goes wide, which allows Jacob to sneak in onto his inside line. Now they go side by side for the third and second corner, and now Scruffy inches ahead, but Jacob Snacks has the better slipstream and better tires. He's still in there in the fight, tries to go from outside and tries to get for a switchback, but Raid was there. Raid tried to gain on that, but he was cut off by Jacob and lost place to door. Everybody getting quite neatly. I think 2 people spun or something, but nobody was crashed out of the race just yet. And now we have a yellow flag. A red car spun around in the middle of the track. That was Vlad
Turn
the
8
Meatman, I
claiming
guess.
its first victim, I think.
I think that was it. I don't see any damage on Vlad's car, so that could have been it. So Scruffy still leading the race from Jacob, from door to door actually. Door to door jumping place on Raid and I think on Lachtan as well.
There's a lot of fighting from P1.
Oli now fighting with Deflink. Deflink trying to get ahead of the Alfa Romeo driver, and he does so. He's now ahead into turn 1. And Agafa fighting with Juno out there, just behind them. Juno tried to go for an overtake, but didn't manage to do so. But still, he's trying to have a look into his outside. And now they are almost going side by side. Will we see a late dive bomb from Yuno? Yes, we will. Yuno dives into the corner and he's now ahead of the Red Bull driver.
I think MKO right now is looking to make a profit off of Yuno and Agafa fighting.
Yeah, but as you say, that Agafa managed to go back at Yuno and he's now once again ahead of the Mercedes. Let's see MKL thinking about the dive into the turn 10. Didn't quite work out for him. He lost a couple of tenths, lost a little bit of ground, but he's still out there in that fight. Nobody's giving up just yet on this 8th place.
A lot of fighting. Jakob's pace is actually similar to Scraffy's, and he's overtaking him now without the DRS.
Yes, they are now side by side into turn 1. Jacob has the inside line and better, softer tires, so Jacob is now leading the race. As we say that, I think we have a contact. Something happened between Bev Jesus and Vlad the Meatman. Both of them are still in the race. I don't see any damage. No, there is no damage on the front wing of the Alpha Tauri. I don't see any damage on the Ferrari as well. I wish I saw what happened there, but unfortunately we missed that. Daxter now, I think he made up a place on Bahrain Berry. And Scrap spins on turn 8. Another driver that was harvested and scooped by the notorious turn 8. Scrap is not gonna be happy about that one, but he has to cut out his losses and continue on. He was fortunate enough to not make any contact with another driver.
I mean, currently as a whole, the race is presenting itself to be very clean, very nice.
Yeah, definitely we could have much more carnage in the turn 1 if the drivers were not careful enough.
It's a lot of fighting for positions. Juno behind MKO with DRS, thinking about a move, but then he actually puts the car right back where it was.
And as you say, that the Raid is actually making a move on door-to-door. Door-to-door defending nicely, having a better exit out of the corner. But Raid has now the DRS and the slipstream.
Laktan has spun out as we were watching that. He's also got a 3-second time penalty for coming off track.
And two Dutch driver making a contact. Now, door-to-door is still a couple of inches ahead. As they go into turn 8 now, Red was pushed a little bit wide, but he's still in there. He's still looking at door-to-door's gearbox, and now, after the turn 8, door-to-door had a little bit of a better exit and now is clear of the danger. For now.
I'm just waiting for that DRS train behind Deathlink to start bunching up even more.
Yeah. That was a good fight between the two Dutch drivers. Both of them are obviously very fast. Especially in F1.
They are, unfortunately, they are losing time to the two cars ahead if they ever do target that 1 and 2 positions.
And now they are side by side yet again into turn 1. Raid has the inside line, forces door-to-door a little bit wide now, and he's ahead. Into the second DRS zone we go. Let's see if door-to-door will be able to get back at the Red Bull driver. He's gonna have a slipstream and the DRS assistance to help him.
I think he's too far away.
Yeah, and that's the move done from Raid. Door-to-door was too far behind to make anything about it. Meanwhile, MKL and Oli are having a scruff. They touched and collided, but none was spun, so MKL gains the position on Oli, or rather should I say keeps the position from the Alfa Romeo driver. Definitely just behind them, trying to make a gain on that little bit of a kerfuffle, but he was too far behind to do anything. They are still very close to each other.
I mean, they will be, and Agafa needs to pick up the pace on hards, which is going to be very difficult to do in order to catch up to Door and Raid, who are both on mediums. So, Currently we only have, I think, maybe one driver? That is one drive. No, 3 drivers on softs. We have Deathling, Bahrain Berry, and Jakob all running on soft tires, with only 3 other drivers on hard tires, which are Agafa, Ollie, and Splatbeef.
And is that you, no spun around?
That
Into
is,
turn
you know,
2.
yes.
Not the weekend that Mercedes drivers would have wanted. Both of them spinning in the opening laps of the race.
Beth has also spun around again, trying to go into the pits, I think. Scraffy's very close to Jakob's
I was gonna say, meanwhile we have
tail.
a battle for the lead brewing. Scruffy now thinking about an overtake. He definitely has the chance to do that, as Jacob's tires are gonna be falling off quite quickly now. He's on softer tires, so they're gonna be faster in the initial phase of the race, but they're gonna fall off much more quicker. So here we are with the DRS assistance. Scruffy is inching closer towards the McLaren of Jacobs. Will he be able to dive down the inside? Not on this occasion. He was too far back, but he gained immensely. He was like 5/10, half a second behind Jacob. He's now just behind him. Second DRS zone coming right up. Will he be able to do something now? Yes, he will. He's inching closer. He's now side by side with him, and he's now ahead of the McLaren. Beautiful racing from both of them, leaving each other so much space. But now Scruffy had a little bit of an understeer, and will that allow Jacob to go back at him? No. Scruffy cuts him off and regains the first place of the race. Wow, I want to see more from those 2 drivers.
Definitely, but I think we'll see a bit less because Jakob's tires must be degrading at quite a heavy rate at this point. He's gonna start having to think about pitting soon. And there comes the wonder: will he go for the hards and make it all the way to the end? Will he go for the mediums? Does he have something else planned?
Bear in mind that he will still be able to hold on to the Alpine of Scruffy with the DRS assistance. He does not need to overtake him just yet. If he's gonna keep himself into the DRS range, he will be able to go maybe even slightly faster than him. Even on much more used tires.
That must have been maybe a part of the plan, to use the DRS to stay behind whilst putting less pressure on the tires, because with less downforce, obviously you have less friction of the tires on the ground, so you're going to have less tire wear as a whole. Unfortunately for them, Raid is picking up the pace, and he's probably going to be catching up to Jakob in the next 5 or 6 laps, obviously when Jakob also pits.
Splatbeef now thinking about the move on the Bahrain Berry's Aston Martin, but I don't know if he was too far behind or he just decided to brake a little bit too early. But Aston Martin regains the position, or should I say keeps the position, and we didn't see any position changes on this lap.
There's going to be an interesting development from Daxter and Mizzy fighting right now, the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo. I think Daxter may actually have an opportunity at an overtake on this lap on the straight.
Jacob might be thinking about pitting. Look, he's outside of the DRS range. He decides to stay out, but his times will obviously be hurting. Scruffy will be able to get away from him now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the timesheet right now, we can see that Raid is actually catching up to him. That was actually half a second, that last lap, that Raid was able to gain on the McLaren driver.
So Bahrain Berry now dives into the pits, and Agafa and Splatbeef are going at it together. They both have DRS open, they're going side by side into turn 1. And Agafa with a slightly better line on harder tires has managed to go ahead of the McLaren of Splatbeef. So Bahrain Berry first to pit with what looks like a scheduled pit stop. Let me actually check if we had any pit stops. Yes, we had Bev Jesus stopping, but I think it was for the damage reduction or something. He stopped very early, so Bahrain Berry first to stop. and not for the nose change.
I think Jakob is definitely feeling the soft tire breaking down on him on this lap, and I think he will be going into the pits now.
He lost an entire second to Scruffy. He obviously needs to pit as fast as possible, and he does so. He dives into the pits now.
Come to think about it, I think the new patch has updated it so that you now have 2 medium tires. So I think a viable strategy would now be to pit twice as well.
Yeah.
So we need to keep that in mind as well. There's 2 sets of medium tires available now for every driver on the grid if they select the balanced tire management option.
Interesting you should say that. Jacob opted to go on hards, so I can only assume he's gonna go to the end on those tires. He comes out behind Lachtan, and as we already know, Lachtan is a fairly fast driver, so he won't be held up by him, and he will be able to make up some ground on Scruffy, I assume, I believe.
I was looking at Raid, and he's starting to have a little bit of some slidey moments on a few corners. So I think the medium tires are starting to meet their end sooner rather than later as well.
Yeah, the only driver now on the soft tires is Deathling, and Deathling is somehow managing to stay on those tires and not die. So kudos to him for doing that. Let's see, will he be diving into the pits now? No, he stays out for one more lap.
That's obviously great tire management from Deathlink. Agafa will start catching up to Daxter and Mizzy now. He's probably gonna, we're probably gonna be expecting an overtake from the Red Bull driver.
You know, now getting closer to the gearbox of Splat Beef. He will have the DRS now. Will he be thinking about an overtake? He had a thought. He had a little bit of a look. But no, not on this occasion.
You have to remember, it's also about the mental game. You want to trick them into thinking you're going down the inside. Next time, maybe Splatbeef goes to cover off the inside. So, from the chat, soft medium apparently does work on Portimao, so it'll be interesting to see whether Deathlink actually opts in order to try and get that soft medium in, or if he pits directly for the hards, which I think may be the case.
He's in the pits now, we'll see. And yes, you were correct, those are soft, sorry, medium tires going on Deathling's hasp.
It'll be interesting to see if he actually manages to make those tires go all the way to the end. And there's also a thought now, if all the drivers driving on mediums actually plan to pit for softs after 20 laps are over, rather than hards right now.
Depends how much wear they have, but yes, it could be possible very much. So that would mean that Jacob, who started on softs and went for hards, actually made a mistake in his strategy.
Well, it could be, but Jacob is also pushing way harder than Deathlink was. If you take it into account, I mean, he was fighting with Scruffy. He's obviously going to be scrubbing the tires out as much as he can in order to get all the pace that he can out of them.
So
If
Splatbeef,
he can do the same from the hards, then it's perfect.
Splatbeef was running in front of Juno, but he is now ahead of the McLaren. So there was an overtake we missed.
Pretty sure we'll be expecting one from Scrub on Splat Beef as well. The two Mercedes drivers moving up the pack together.
We obviously
Obviously
saw
they're both
Mercedes
running-
doing beautiful things on the Brazilian soil today. Will we see Mercedes drivers doing beautiful things on the Portuguese track later on today? Scrap obviously had a little bit of a look onto turn 6 and didn't spin on turn 8. He actually had a better exit. Will he see an opportunity to dive bomb the McLaren? Yes, he thought about that. Splat will covering him off neatly, but Scrap is not done yet. He's still with him. Scrappy, meanwhile, fastest lap of the session, and that was a big moment from Splat Beef.
Good braking from Scrub.
Good braking from Scrap. Fortunately, he didn't run into him. Both of them were able to continue, but Splat obviously now has to change his diaper.
And what this means, he's out of the DRS now, so
Exactly.
it's going to be an easy overtake for Scrub here on the straight line.
As we now see, Scrap is now ahead of the McLaren. Meanwhile, Door to Door is getting overtaken by MKL. Good overtake from the Alpha Tauri driver, but Door to Door, with that time penalty of his, obviously was virtually already behind the Alpha Tauri. Latan, meanwhile, getting another time penalty, 3 seconds for cutting the corners. So Scrap already pulling away from Splat Beef. Splat Beef obviously on harder tires, having a little bit worse pace, which is worrying because mediums should be going off right now, and they seem to be a better tire even in the later parts of the race.
Yeah, Jakob must be questioning himself after the race, though I did see him do some intense practice, so I think he knows what he's doing.
I mean, that is a good idea to do one stopper, but I don't think he taken into account how good are those mediums on this track.
Door to Door is actually pitted now for medium, so he's clearly going on hards alongside Mizzy and Daxter, I think.
Yeah, we are now having a lot of drivers diving to the pits. Door to Door is now getting out on the new set of hards, and so will be Mizzy, I think. No? Yes, actually, Mizzy is on the medium tires, and Daxter is also pitting from mediums to hards. 5 more
now,
laps
Jakob.
meds than soft works.
Yeah, I think Jakob's strategy is one of the more unique ones, I think.
Yeah,
It'll be
he
interesting to
discarded
see how
those
he
softs
does
very
it.
early.
Yep.
And Mizzy is now getting overtaken by the Haas of Deathling. And they touched. I don't think there was any damage on the front wing of the Ferrari. But that was a beautiful overtake from Haas. And now we have a Red Bull of Raid spun around. He almost collected Oli in the process, but he managed to keep out of trouble for the most part. So yeah, that's not gonna help Raid in the fight for the lead, honestly. Oli, meanwhile, on the hard tires, opting to stay out. MKL instead, discarding those mediums and going on hards. I would assume it's a Raid. Let's see. Yes, seems like it's hards. Exactly, it is. And Scrap also going on hards, apparently. So yeah. No one is opting to go for the strategy that Mad Cat Games has suggested. Possibly maybe Scruffy and
Deathlink is the only
Yuno.
one that could go for them. Deathlink could try to do soft to medium.
He already did. He started on softs and he's now on mediums. So if he's going
Yeah,
to the
but
end,
he might be going for another pair of softs.
that's true. But we saw Raid sliding on those old mediums and actually sliding away from the second place. So yeah, that might be a risk, honestly. That might be a gamble a gamble worth taking, but a gamble nonetheless.
Looking at Scrappy's tires, they also look like they don't really have that much life left in them. So I do expect the driver to try and maybe drag out 4 or 5 more laps out of them, so that he can then switch onto the softs. I think that will be right at the edge of the usability of the tire, actually.
Bahrain Berry, meanwhile, trying to get in front of the Mercedes of Scrablord. So yeah, now Scruffy is the only driver left who is yet to pit. Yuno opted to go in and put up a new set of hearts, and as I say that, Bahrain Berry is now ahead of the Mercedes of Scrablord. Beautiful overtake under the DRS assistance. So now Bahrain Berry has another Mercedes in front of him, but Scrablord is actually somehow getting back at him. They are now side by side, and now Scrablord, somehow Bahrain Berry still has the DRS. That's all.
Scrappy's pitting right now, I think, for hards.
But yeah, Scrablord is yet ahead of the Bahrain Berry Aston Martin. And let's see. Now those are hards.
Yeah, so he's doing the medium to hard.
Only Deathling was brave enough to brave out the softs in the first stint and then put on mediums. Let's see if it will pay off for him. He's now on 9th place, and Mizzy has spun or maybe cut the corner. There was a yellow flag for a brief moment.
He did spin, I think. He was stationary on the track.
Yeah. And now Deathling is getting nearer and closer to the back of Raid. He's obviously not close enough. And Deathling had a time penalty for multiple warnings, so he was cutting the corners a little bit too much. And as we are watching the battle between Deathling and Raid, there is another battle going on between Door-to-Door and MKL, and Door-to-Door was thinking about an overtake, but didn't manage to do so. Now Deathling is trying to go from the outside of Raid, didn't exactly stick the landing, and now Raid is still ahead of the Haas. There's a couple of battles going on right now, actually. We have Bahrain Berry trying to get in front of the two Mercedes. And we have Deathling trying to get in front of the Red Bull of Raid. We have Door-to-Door trying to get in front of Alpha Tauri of MKL. And I think Jacob Snacks is still wanna get in front of that Alpine. And we had another spin, that's Mizzy? No, that's not Mizzy, that's another Ferrari.
Vlad the
Vlad the Meatman now. So turn 8 taking another soul. Again.
Yeah, it's been multiple spins on turn 8, but it's fortunately a lot of drivers have avoided spinning on there as Deathling overtakes Raid with the DRS. No, he does not. Raid is fighting. Both the drivers go off track. There's a touch, and Deathling remains behind Raid. But of course, you'll have another opportunity here as the DRS flap opens up.
And Raid had a Scruffy exit. That's gonna help Deathling a lot.
He's got ridiculous pace on those mediums compared to the cold hards that Raid is driving. They're just going to be starting the warm-up now on the 4th lap. And Deathling is missing the opportunity. He's also scrubbing his tires harder and harder underground, trying to get the overtake done on Raid, and that won't bid well for his strategy unless he's planning on going on the softs towards the end.
He still has the time penalty to serve. And Ollie was speeding at the pit lane, earning himself a 5-second time penalty.
We need to think about it, because the reason Deathling may have not done such a great lap is because he was running on used softs in order to keep a set for the race. That would be the only sense that this makes.
Yeah,
I don't think that's possible.
Probably. Though. He still needs to do 13 laps on those mediums, and he has done 7 already. That's gonna be a tall order. I think he actually is going for the 2-stopper. But he needs to get ahead of that Red Bull, otherwise he's not gonna go fast enough, he's not gonna have enough pace lap after lap after lap to make that strategy work.
Yeah, Raid's been defending valiantly against him. Red Bull driver is now getting a lot of heat into his tires, so it's going to be a lot more difficult now for the Haas to actually make the move, regardless if he has or doesn't have DRS. And the more he stays behind Raid, the hotter his tires are going to get, the more he's going to scrub them against the floor, and the worse the tire wear is going to be. And he's going to be very difficult for him to manage as Vlad the Meatman retires into the pit lane.
Obviously, I'm not very much surprised. He spun 2 or 3 times already and he was not having the greatest time. And he didn't have any ERS apparently. So, yeah, him retiring is probably for the best. It's outside of points anyway.
Yeah, as I can see, Deathlink does have no ERS, so I think that he's wasted all of his ERS on the straight line there where Raid defended very well against him. So he's not going to be able to catch Raid again. Here's the hoping that he stays within the DRS range, which he does. He's able to get the flap open in order to defend his position. Actually, no, I thought I read it wrong. Mizzy's 6 seconds behind Deathlink. Deathlink is fine on the mediums.
Mizzy is pitting. Mizzy is retired from the session. 2 Ferraris retiring from the session.
That's odd.
That's very odd, not gonna lie. Meanwhile, Agatha, who is still yet to pit, is now being challenged by Scruffy, the race de facto leader. We did start a little bit late, maybe he ran out of time, he had to be somewhere else. But that's very odd from Mizzy.
Yes.
Scruffy is already in the DRS range of Agatha.
Well, you have to look at Agatha's tires. You can even see the line the tires have formed from being scrubbed onto the ground.
Yes, you actually can see the moment when they start bubbling up, and those tires are not gonna be good for much longer.
No, but Agatha needs to last for 2 or 3 laps until he can safely do the crossover onto softs and he can actually be faster on those softs.
Bahrain Berry meanwhile side by side with Scrublord going to turn 1. Here we go, Scrublord having a better line throughout the twisty section, and now Bahrain Berry thought about it, but Scrublord is still ahead.
Yeah, and this is a difficult moment for Jakob because, as I've seen, he's lost around a second. I don't think the McLaren driver is doing that great on
Yuno meanwhile was
the hard tires.
engine ahead of Daxter. Daxter thought about the switchback but could not defend against fresher tires of Yuno and the DRS assistance. So Daxter from 10th to 11 now.
It's crazy to see Deathlink is still behind Raid. Raid now obviously has the DRS assistance from door to door ahead of him as well.
There's a big pile of cars battling for 6. MK leading the pack. All of them will have now DRS behind him. Let's see if he will be able to defend, or maybe they will be scrapping at each other, letting MKL get away with that. As we speak now, Agatha is getting challenged by Scruffy yet again. Scruffy was thinking about an overtake, but somehow Agatha managed to stay ahead of him.
Ooh, Deathlink's taking his car in where it shouldn't have been, and he makes contact with Raid, spinning Raid out.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't see that, but yeah, Raid is now definitely spun ahead.
Yes, he'll be able to catch back, he'll be able to accelerate and get the Haas driver again near the end of the race when obviously those tires will run out of gas, considering he's been pushing the car so hard.
I would honestly expect Agatha to pit about now, and he does so. Scruffy trying to mimic Alonso that one time. He was trying to get a little bit of a slipstream into the pit straight, and he is now ahead, free to go. No one else in front of him. So let's see. New tires on Agafa's car, that's gonna be mediums. Where will he land? He gonna land in front of MK or behind the pack? They're crossing the pit exit now, and Agafa is gonna end up behind Deathling even. But bear in mind, Agafa does not have a time penalty, Deathling does.
Need to bear in mind, I was wondering now, I think Agafa actually stayed out for so long because if you look at the clouds, they do scream rain.
Might be the case, yes.
Could be an interesting thought. There's obviously around 9 laps to go, so at any given moment, we may still get that rain.
Door to door getting another time penalty, which is not gonna help his chances against MKL. And Scruffy with the fastest time of the session. He's finally putting that hards to good use. And
So,
Splatbeef pits. Splatbeef finally opts to change his tires. Will he go on
that will
softs?
be a soft. Will have to be softs. So as it stands, Ollie has 5 seconds of time penalty, door to door is 6 seconds, Deathlink with 3, Scrub with 6 seconds, and Lachtan with 6 seconds.
And Splatbeef actually picks softs to go with for the next stint. And as you said about the rain, now it looks like it's getting sunnier now. A little bit more light on the track. And now Deathling is getting closer to Door and MKL. The two of them were battling quite fiercely for the past couple of laps. And he will be trying to get ahead of them.
It'll be interesting to see Deathlink make these tires last till the end, because they do look like they won't be able to make it.
They certainly do, but they are very fast apparently, as he's now inching closer towards Door's Aston Martin. And he's gonna pick up a big slipstream from that back of the car. And he thinks about an overtake, he pulls out to the inside. Door leaving him a lot of space, but Deathling was not quick enough for the brakes. But now he dives inside of the Aston Martin, and he's now ahead of Door's car. But now Door gets back at him, he dives inside, and he's now yet again ahead of the Haas. We see overtakes all around the track, a lot of overtaking actually going on, as now Splatbeef is going side by side with Scrub, trying to challenge him for the 11th place and possibly get Yuno at 9th. But look at that, now Deathling has opted to pit for the second time, and he's obviously gonna go for softs, but that's an odd choice this late in the race. 5 laps is not enough to actually make any difference on those softs, so I think his tires just fell apart and he was not expecting that.
Maybe. Ooh. Hard contact from Splatbeef is what I just saw in between him and Scrub.
Yes, Splatbeef obviously lost a lot of ground to Scrublord. He was right behind him and he's now a couple of car lengths behind. But Agafa is now thinking about getting ahead of Door. So, previous champion has switched from one danger to another, which is another world champion. Agafa obviously with fresher tires and without any penalties, he's gonna be ahead of Door-to-Door nonetheless, but will he be able to overtake him on track? Pockets with the inside information that Deflink's AI made the choice for the pit. Now that makes a lot of sense, as Deflink is now on medium tires, so yeah. I would expect nothing less from this beautiful, beautiful game. As we were now witness to the overtake of Door-to-Door on... sorry, the other way around, of Agafa on Door-to-Door. Agafa has now another car inside, it's Alpha Tauri of MKL. Will he be able to get in front of that before the race ends? We will see. So now, Scrap has managed to get in front of Daxter somehow. Obviously he jumped place when Defling went to the pits, but Scrap is now 9th. A good points for the Mercedes drivers. Yeah, it's interesting to see how much closer and closer Agafa gets to the MKO, how much faster he's on those fresher tires. Look,
Oh yeah, there's definitely, it's the mediums. The hards don't seem to be doing great on this track, and the chances for rain actually disappear faster than ever now, with the clouds going away and the sky coming into view.
okay, so Agafa now is much closer to MKL than on the previous lap. He's gonna have the DRS now, and he's gonna think about making an overtake to turn 1. You know, train for the whole race is actually hilarious. Tell me about it. He's been leading the... how do I say it? A bit of a pack, like in professional cycling. How do you call those bunches of cyclists?
Oh, I have no clue.
Is that a peloton?
I don't know, do you watch that?
No, I hate cyclists. That's why I was trying.
For guys, those are vile humans.
We're gonna get cancelled today, boys.
Oh no. I have no idea what that is called, but Yuno has definitely been holding a massive train behind him.
For the entire race, actually. Lower midfield.
Yeah, the lower midfield. Well, now they're midfield now, because they are actually holding positions in the points.
Yeah, definitely. Splatbeef is actually held back by them quite a bit. I mean, he's on soft tires, he should be getting ahead of them very easily, but the fact that they are all in a DRS train is preventing him from taking any actual advantages on them. Pockets is a cycler, confirmed.
Well, he is. He does the BMX races.
Ah, those are completely different things. They do not take the roads of regular folk.
They take the roads of
I don't have anything against BMX drivers. I actually am quite. I have quite a bit of respect for them. Um, like jumping on the ramps and doing skate park thing is all cool and dandy. But when someone takes my road from me, I'm gonna get angry.
Oh, mouse. I think Agafa is heading now. This might be the final lap that MKO manages to stay ahead of Agafa. He's hunting him down. He's calculating his lines, making sure that it gets closer and closer now.
Yeah, obviously it's now or never. Either Agafa gets in front of that AlphaTauri or he stays behind it for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and definitely now under DRS with 3 tenths away.
He did have a slightly better exit, but will that be enough? He has the DRS, he's inching closer towards the AlphaTauri. He's now in the striking position. He opts to go from the outside and AlphaTauri cuts him off. Agafa did not manage to do that on this occasion, but he's still in the fight. He's very close to the MKL driver and he will try to have a better exit into the second DRS zone. He's now inches away from him. He tries to go from the outside yet again. He dives, brakes late. That's a good line. A better exit from the Red Bull driver. Very careful on the throttle as he was exiting the corner. And he's now ahead of MKL. Beautiful overtake. So it was now or never. It was now or never, and it is actually now. Agafa is ahead.
Yeah, both drivers were struggling to make that. I mean, MKO was struggling to defend, he was pushing hard. Agafa was struggling to overtake, pushing hard. That was great to watch.
And they left so much room for each other. They had respect throughout all of those corners.
You do have to bear in mind though, now MKO will be getting the DRS and he has more ERS available than Agafa. So,
but this is the
at any
final
given
lap.
moment it can... Yes, it is. You're correct. I think they have one... Do they not have one more lap?
Wait, they do. Okay.
They do.
My mistake.
Here it is. MKO makes the move down the inside, pushing Agafa slightly wide. They touch. I'm surprised that did not cause a bigger incident.
And now they touched massively, and MKO...
But MKO was very respectful about it.
Yeah, he was very respectful. It was his mistake and he made up for it by not taking advantage of that. And he's now opting to go from the inside. He is on the inside and they are now side by side with each other. Will Agafa be able to get back at him yet?
Oh, they're touching.
Yeah, they're so close. MK goes out of the track. If he gets the overtake done on this corner, it's gonna be controversial. But now he stays behind Agafa, and I think that's it for from the two of them. Actually,
no,
no,
he
dives inside. Agafa on the outside has a better line and has a much more speed, but that was opportunistic from MKL. But now it was very much fair. Obviously,
he's planning on doing it again.
he had to do that to not lose the race. Obviously didn't pay out for him, as Door to Door is now thinking about an overtake. That's not gonna change anything though, because Door to Door has a penalty and MKL doesn't.
What a fight. And Raid manages to secure the P6 for Red Bull.
And yeah, as we were watching that scrap between Agafa and MKL, Scruffy crosses the line to take the W there. Jacob Snacks second to cross the line, followed by Oli, and obviously our two rivals now, I believe, Agafa and MKL. Such a good race.
That was some fighting at the end. I'm surprised they both made it across the line safely, honestly. Yeah, and I think I'd agree with the game with Agafa being driver of the day. That was fantastic driving from both MKO and Agafa.
Nothing to add on this one. So here is your winner, proving us wrong yet again. We said he doesn't have enough consistency to win the Portuguese Grand Prix. And yet, here he is, standing on the top step of the podium today.
That was a good race to watch. And I'm surprised Ollie is now in P3 as well. That was great. I mean, the qualifying, if the qualifying said anything, it said that he was going to be a very strong contender, but he's even made it now. I don't know if this is his first podium. I think it may be.
So yeah, do we have anyone that you want to interview?
I mean, I'd be interested to interview Ollie. I don't specifically remember if it is his first podium. I think he's had a podium before.
Anyone else? Maybe Agafa?
Well, Jakob, Agafa as well. If we don't have Scruffy coming in for an interview, obviously.
No, we don't. I don't see him anywhere.
No, but I think we can get Agafa in first because I'm more interested in seeing what Agafa has to say about that fight. I was definitely both of them fighting about it. We'll be forcing the other two drivers to wait for their turn as we welcome Agafa into the commentary box. Hello, Agafa. We both Mouse and I watched that. Should we say final lap? We say final 2-lap fight.
Let's say final 2 laps.
Yeah, MKO was very respectful to give you the position back after he sort of touched you and almost spun you around. You were obviously struggling to fight for pace at the end when he had the DRS and more ERS than you. Were you afraid for a couple of seconds? Did you think he was actually going to manage to make the overtake on you? Did you think that your tires might not hold on for that?
I mean, first of all, nice racing, you know. I was kind of expecting a nice overtake because I was closing in on him so fast. So I just sat back for like, I don't know, 2 laps before we started fighting, saving up a little fuel and ERS. And then he put up like a hell of a fight. So there were plenty of moments where I was like, okay, I might not get this P4 after all. But yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I have one question to you though. What happened during qualifying? Was that your actual pace or did you have any problems with the setup or anything?
I tried to be a little experimental, go down on the rear wing, which eventually fucked me. Sorry for the language. Had a little moment in the uphill right-hander where my rears just snapped. It's lost me like 4 tenths. So yeah, and then I went back to a little bit more familiar setup for the race,
I see.
which helped.
Yeah, it paid off.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe podium was possible for you today if you didn't have that? How would I describe it? Setback at qualifying.
I mean, podium would have been possible if, I mean, the qualifying position didn't really matter too much for me because I struggled a lot and there were softer tires that just squeezed past. But I had a little spin, which I managed to halfway save, which cost me 15 seconds or something. So I was just happy I didn't bang it in the wall at that time. And then it was just reset. And yeah, but a podium would have been possible, I think, without that moment.
I see. So thank you for your time and good luck next time.
Thank you, thank you.
And congratulations on a good battle and fair fight.
Yeah, it was fucking fun. Alright, I'll see you later.
See you
See you,
later,
mate.
boy. And
Ollie. We'll get Ollie now. Yeah.
hello, Ollie.
Hello, Ollie.
Congratulations on the podium. How do you feel about the race? Was there anything else you could have done to make yourself end up higher on the grid?
Honestly, I don't think there was anything more I could have done. My pace was the maximum I could have had. I've really maximised my stint on the hard tyres. All of my laps on the hards were within like 5 tenths, so I don't think there was really much more I could have done, other than maybe a better start, but my starts have been weak on this game since it came out, so...
Yeah, do you think maybe you could have went to soft tires on the second stint?
I don't think softs would have been worth it. I think as much as it's nice that we've got the option to do it in game now, I think that the softs die off too quickly, and the hards just would have been it would have been like driving on rims by the time it was okay to box for the softs.
So overall, the strategy is the one that you planned, the one that you stuck to till the end, because you did go, I think was it 23 laps on the hards? That was I think you had the longest stint on the hards.
No, I did 19 laps on the hards.
19 laps.
I think it was Splatbeef who did 23 laps. Because
Yeah, I think so.
he boxed right as I got to the back of him, which was really handy because he gave me DRS and then immediately pitted.
Yeah, it was
Might be the case.
interesting to see a lot of different setups actually making it towards the top. A lot different than other tracks, Portimao. Were you afraid at any given moment for rain? Was there any call for rain? Because we did see some clouds forming up around the middle of the race.
Yeah, I saw that it was getting pretty dark, but whilst I was waiting in quali, I waited for it to cycle through the race weather, and it said that it didn't get above 20% predicted rain. So I was pretty confident that it wasn't gonna rain, which is always handy because as witnessed in the Tier 2 race yesterday, it does cause just a little bit of chaos.
Yeah. That's all the questions from me. Mouse, if you have anything to add.
No, nothing of any importance
Obviously,
actually.
I want to congratulate you on your second podium. That was a great race. And overall, hopefully, you have more races like these. I mean, it was nice to watch, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, when I don't spin, the results tend to be pretty good. So, and it was a solid result for the team as well, with Daxter bringing home a point. Should move us up a couple of positions in the constructors because of other people's misfortunes through the race. So yeah,
Oh, yeah,
always
definitely.
nice to bring home a podium.
Yeah. Cheers.
So,
and
thank you for your
obviously,
time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
So yeah, that's it for you. No more interviews then. And that was honestly, a very good race. I hope we can have the next one as good or better than this one. But yeah,
It was very enjoyable. I love the fight between Agafa and MKO. They really threw elbows at each other and really tried to fight for those positions.
there was a lot of respect between the guys out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for everyone that sticked with us to the end. Thanks for everyone that joined the stream. Thanks for everyone again for following us and sticking with us, giving us the time of
And
your day.
I have one more thing to add. Thanks a lot for all the support, genuinely, towards me, towards our TTF, towards the server, towards everyone. Everyone is great.
Yeah, and I hope to see you guys next time. Where is our next race? Let me
think it
quickly
is
check. That's gonna be Spa. We are gonna race at Belgian Spa Francorchamps, or whatever do you pronounce that weird name. So, I hope to see you guys there and catch you later.